right, guys, welcome to another episode of Exposure Runs the Podcast. I'm your host, Mustafa. We have our next two guests who came up this motherfucker empty-handed. No hoodies, no gear, no t-shirts, no hats, no nothing.
We got you.
Then they give me the proverbial "we got you," and after today, we'll probably never see them again unless we come to the game. Daz, I told you when you came in, I wasn't on that with you. Like it's all Mark. I blame Mark for everything, bro. But no, our first and second guest is the former Obama 8th grade head coach, current freshman A-team head coach, varsity assistant coach, and the former Morgan Park head coach of the JV girls team, current varsity coach and freshman head coach of the B team. We have Mark Collins and Desmond Blocker of HF Homewood Flossmoor basketball program. The revamp, retool, re-everything up there. Y'all doing y'all thing up there at HF. Y'all already pretty much are the talk of the state right now. I mean, y'all brought in a high-level transfer who came back home. Mm-hmm. You already had G over there. Well, G transferred in. I had Carson and some of the other players. I'm not familiar with anyone after those three, so forgive me. And then y'all had the transfer that came over from Lincoln Way?
Yeah, Matt.
Right. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Appreciate you for having me.
Appreciate you guys being here. My first question to you guys is, who are your Mount Rushmore of head coaches?
You know, let me go first with that one, huh?
Yep.
Oh, so I got to go way back in current. I'll do past and present for mine. So Sonny Cox was one of the coaches that once I got really into coaching that I always admired how he coached and approached things.
What school?
King High School.
Okay.
That's a good one. Robert Smith. This in no particular order too. Okay. Robert Smith.
We know who he is.
We
know who Coach Smith is. Coach Smith, what's up, Coach Smith? That's our BFF.
Man, one of the GOATs. Then Mike Oliver at Cary.
Okay.
And then I actually go with my coach from Lane Tech, Coach Lolino. I learned some of my intensity and some of my X's and O's from him. So I go with Coach Lolino, Frank Lolino. His pedigree is his father coached at Westinghouse. So he coached Hershey Hawkins and some of those names that you might have heard of from the 70s.
Right. And it's crazy, too, because when I moved to Chicago, it's a lot of stuff outside of basketball, but basketball specifically, where I either didn't know flat out or I just kind of forgot, like, their homegrown talent.
Yeah.
Like, damn, like Sean Marion, you got Craig Hodges, you got Isaiah Thomas, like just to kind of name some of the known names. But it's a lot of players who may have not made it to the next level that are like legends here in this state and in this city. So, all right, Mark, what about you? Who's your Mount Rushmore?
I'm going to go with Chris Head from Westinghouse.
Yep.
Mike Oliver, Rob, and Ty Slaughter. Like,
okay. All right, those are good ones.
I want to also creeping up. I gotta stay home and ride with my coach.
Oh, yeah,
he on his way.
He on his way?
He on his way. Got to ride with my coach.
Okay. Okay. All right. What high school did you both attend?
I went to Rich South High School, which is no longer around. It's Rich Township now, but yeah, Rich South High School, class of '99.
Okay, and what about
and
you?
I went to Lane Tech, class of 2007.
You a baby. I didn't realize you was that young.
Yeah, younger than I look.
Damn, okay, I feel old as shit now. Damn, 2007, god damn.
In 2007.
All of them young, bro. They call me Unc.
Yeah, I can see that because you old.
I'm young, but I'm actually the second oldest of the staff.
My birthday is Saturday.
All right, we're going to keep going.
Yeah,
See? Did you guys play college ball after high school?
I did not. So I had an opportunity to play at a JUCO, but I started working at a young age. Okay. The blessing in disguise is I started coaching at 20 years old. So I've been connected to the game as a trainer, coach, mentor. This will be 14 years now.
What about you, Mark?
I probably had 5 games of collegiate experience at Millikan University.
Okay. Millikan.
I went there and didn't do my schoolwork. So,
Okay.
you know.
All right, it is what it is. What kind of players were you guys when you played in high school and, the little bit of time that you did play in college? What kind of players were you guys?
I was versatile. I was a combo guard.
Okay.
So coming into high school, I was a post player. So I had to learn the whole point guard position, two guard position. But in learning both, I was able to play both positions.
Okay.
So
What about you, Mark?
Me, high school, I was the guard who, depending on what the other team is doing, it'll determine what position I'm in. If we were going against a team that predominantly ran a zone, anything like that, I'll be at the 2. Man, I'll be at the 1. But I was one of those guards that did what was needed.
Did the dirty work.
Not necessarily dirty work, because I was one of them guys.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I was like, keep in mind we're a little older, so the internet wasn't around at that time. But
No, it
you
was
ask
around.
anybody,
It was around. The internet was around.
barely, barely. But if you go around and ask people in the south suburbs between '97 and '01, they knew who I was.
Okay. When you both played, who were the top players of your era?
So I came out around. Let's see, you had Quentin Richardson, Corey McGatty.
Two more names that, like, if you're not from here, you would forget that they were from here.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade.
Another one. Robbins finest.
indeed.
Yeah, see, I do my homework. I know
You said Robin. See, that's impressive.
Yeah.
You didn't just say Chicago.
No, Robbins finest. I do my
Everybody don't know
motherfucking
that.
homework, dog. Go ahead.
So those like the huge names that
Right.
came out, and then I mean, still you had like Sean Dockery, Amari Sawyer, Leon
Julian.
Smith, all of them. So
Okay.
we had a nice crop of players around my area.
Okay, what about you, Des?
So Derrick Rose was the big name.
Right.
Within my 4 years, Sharon Collins,
Mm-hmm.
John Shire was in the state. Patrick
Beverly. Duke. Okay.
Patrick Beverly.
Okay,
Iman Shumpert.
I forgot about Iman.
Evan Turner, Dimitri McCamey.
Mm.
It's Tim. That's the head coach at Simeon now. He was
Flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah.
He was there with Derrick Rose. It's so many names to name because I was 03 to 07. So
Right.
to me that was like peak Chicago basketball.
It was peak Chicago basketball. Here's the interesting thing. I know we just kind of joked about the internet not being around when Mark was playing, but around your era was probably, I don't know if it was the start, and you can correct me, but
Yeah.
I know that they had rankings going on around there.
Yeah.
With that ranking system now in place and pretty much has kind of taken over high school basketball, what was that like back in your era with the whole ranking thing?
So we had middle school rankings. I was ranked going into high school. Was it high school elite? I think it was at the time I was there. But I mean, we followed it religiously. Especially freshman year, you had Julian Wright too. Was a high ranked player at the time when I was a little younger in high school. But the freshman class was top 25. Sophomore class was top 50. Juniors was top 60. Then you got to top 100 for seniors.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that scouting report was ran. And then by the time my senior year, then you had Rivals, you had ESPN.
Right.
So it was so many outlets. And then Simeon, my senior year, was the number one team in the country at that time. So rankings was huge my 4 years.
And Mark, when you was in school, again, not being a little serious, like y'all got ranked by word of mouth, like
Word of mouth.
like yo, he cool. Like I don't know who you think is cool, but he cool. Like that's how it was when y'all was coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be like a real scout and everything like that to really know what was going on outside of your area. Because like the kids today, they get to see, hop on YouTube, hop on Instagram, and they could see other players in their age. We literally will walk in the gym and find out what's to that guy when we playing him. So.
I saw this video a while back. It was maybe about a year or so ago, and I don't know how old the video was, but it was Doc's son. I think it was Austin who talked about how the internet has kind of changed people's perception of players. Because back when you played, but I think Austin might be around your era as far as high school goes. He talked about like if you wasn't cold, you ain't getting no mixtape. Now everybody got those motherfuckers.
It was What we talk about, Mark, all the time.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, talk a little bit about how the internet has kind of helped get kids seen who, you know, I'm real careful about not talking about kids, but
Right.
the internet has helped a lot of players get opportunities that their skill set may not have gotten them. I'll say that. That's the better way to say it.
That's a good way
That's
to
a
put
better
it.
way to say it.
bro.
Because I don't like talking
Yeah.
about people's kids. Because you talk about my kids, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Right, right.
So I try not to. I try to mirror the energy I want in return. So just kind of talk a little bit about how the internet has changed people's perception of people's skills.
It just creates this platform where 15 to 20 seconds can make you a superstar. And I know in the 2000s, you weren't getting clips if you couldn't play. Like, could play, not a move here and there, a bucket here and there. I'm talking about could play, could roll, could go. So now you could be a bench player and last 60 seconds of the game, get a highlight, and then it becomes 1,500 people watched it and go viral.
How does that affect coaching? How does that affect recruiting? How does that affect the overall ability to pour into and be hard on a kid when you're coaching them?
I believe one effect as an opponent, and it'll open your eye to somebody. It could waste your time because it could be the 15th man off the bench that did something the last 2 minutes of the game. Like, oh, we got to look out for him. But I feel as if it kind of could be a disadvantage to a particular team because, like, when I used to play heavy, I never wanted to play the first game as far as like going to open gyms and everything because I want to see what everybody else got.
Right.
So now you putting out these mixtapes and I'm watching your game. That's how I get down. Like I'm picking apart, and kind of how I coach now. I'm picking apart what you're doing. So now I have the advantage on you. So with the publicity that everybody is searching for, I feel honestly it could be detrimental to you. You know, if you got somebody who could really pick apart what's going on with your game, like look at your weaknesses, look at your strengths, and then we're gonna placate to that. So,
what about you, Doug? Same thing.
I agree with that. Well said.
I mean, the same thing can also be said. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. The same thing could be said for your own players who has these highlights, these mixtapes, these moments in time, and then they come into the gym thinking that shit is sweet. Like, how do y'all bring them back to reality?
That doesn't take long. So just the aggressive approach of just, you got to humble them. You know, you got to humble the kids and tell them you got to keep putting work in because the work always show. That's the model that we live by. The work will show. If you put the work in, it will always show. So highlights or not, you got to work.
And y'all got the younger guys too. So like y'all gotta mold them quickly. Because the guys that JD get as the head coach of the varsity, I know y'all are his assistants, but they already kind of set in their ways. Like you can't, the mentality of can't teach your old dog new tricks, but like y'all responsible for getting them younger guys ready. We had Scooter up here the other day, coaching, head coach over at Prairie Hills, and he mentioned how sometimes he will those players who think they, I need to be. He put them out there like. That's how he humbles them. He puts them out there and lets them kind of like, almost shit the bed. Like, what type of approach do you guys take as it relates to maybe practice, games, behind the scenes, pull them to like, what's the approach to kind of, again, get them back down to earth? I
mean, the key word you just used was the humble. Like, at the very beginning, and it's not, I don't know what word I necessarily want to use, but we humble them. We let them know, like, we're here. We're here to set this foundation. What you see up there, it took a long time to get there, whether they are 4-year players at HF or whether they come from somewhere else. They didn't wake up and say, okay, they're there. So Des and I, we like to say, like, we setting the foundation. Like, we're the foundation for the whole program because we do have those kids that eventually in 2 years, even next year, might end up playing at varsity. And once you step upstairs and have to deal with JD, Shay, Trail, and everybody like that, like, it's not going to be sweet. Like, there's no egos, and let them know it's no egos, and break that ego from day one. You walk in as a highly touted freshman and everything like that, but you got to prove it to me. You know what I mean? And if you don't prove it to me, then you're not really not gonna have opportunity to prove it to anybody else.
Okay. Describe your coaching styles. Could either of you play for yourselves, and could either of you play for each other as players if you were coaching you?
Yes to both. I was tough nose. Like you couldn't break me, and I needed somebody to push me, which that's what we do. We push. We don't really allow a player to use excuses or anything like that. We push them to the next level. Okay, you achieved that. Let's learn something else. Let's get better at something else. So my coaching style is it's a joke between the 9 of us. It's like Mark know how to put the battery in the kids' backs. Like the kid probably can't dribble the ball 2 times with their left hand, but they feel like they world beaters. You know what I mean? So I just believe in yourself. Whatever you do good, let's do it great. So you can help in this puzzle that we put together. So yeah, I feel like I know I could play. I definitely know I could play with Des. Des X and O's is crazy. So it's like I got you, coach. And I feel like somebody pushed me. Because I feel like pushing me is challenging me. I'll never back away from a challenge, so I got you.
Got you.
So I always told myself when I was a younger coach to coach in the way I wish I had when I was a player. So all these years later, I still approach it that way. Appreciate that, Marco, the X's and O's comment. I'm a very tactical coach. So my in-game adjustments, I'm very, laser focused with that. But I just really like to. We both kind of like-minded with the battery pack of that. We're player coaches, so it comes from that background of playing. And I think it's the eras that we played in, where we played this in Chicago at that time, where it was the killer kill, be killed mentality. Yeah. So it was like, I'm going at you. Like, even as a coach, I go at the other coach sometimes. Like, it's just. That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
I try to tell the guys all the time. I say all the right things. Like this weekend when we just won at Whitney Young, I told them I've never lost to a CPS team. I don't plan on losing to one anytime soon. So it's aggressive, but out of the groups I've had, they've all played hard for me. So
okay, from your coaching hats, scout yourselves as players.
So a younger version of myself was one-dimensional because I was a rim runner. Was very athletic above the rim. My game evolved as I got a little older. I could score on all 3 levels, mid-range in particular. But to answer your question, I would say force him to his right hand because I'm left-handed, and play him to pass because if I see one fall in, it's over with.
Me, I would say just stay solid. If you're playing against them, stay solid. Don't talk trash to them because you're gonna ignite a flame on them. If it's like just to guard them, force them left, but don't force them left driving all the way to the bucket. I wasn't the best finisher with the left at the bucket, but shooting to the left, if I'm going left and pull up, I'm deadly. So don't just force me left and let me stop. Force me left and push me to the bucket and then have me make a decision. But yeah, don't wake them up. Don't seriously. Bo been to a lot of my games. Like don't wake them up because you wake them up, it's gonna be a long night. So if you're having a good game, just have a good game and be quiet.
Okay. How difficult is it coaching high level players?
It's tough because you're managing egos. You're trying to keep everybody happy. Then the parents, then other coaches recruiting your kids
all the time.
All the time.
It doesn't stop.
All the time, and they don't think you know, but you know. So it's a balance. It's a balance. So
yeah, I think with the actual coaching aspect, on the court, it's not bad. But now you start dealing with the outside influence and everything. Oh, you can come here. So now you're dealing with, a lot of kids are a little more sensitive than we were when we were growing up.
Not a little more.
A lot more.
I know you got they a lot more. So right. The mentality of this generation of child is just is bad.
It's different.
It's very bad. That's one reason why I think is because it's babies raising babies. But the mentality of this generation is bad. It's bad.
And that mentality makes it easier for another coach to come grab, because we're in your face. We're talking to you. You know, we're not demeaning you or anything like that. And if you feel like, oh, coach is tripping, he yelling at me, he's so tough on me, another coach gonna come and
coddle you,
and then, you know, bring you away.
Honestly, I've seen situations, and if I'm being honest and transparent, there have been, I can count on one hand, it might even get to the second hand, where just myself, I've had to readjust my thinking as it relates to when I'm seeing somebody getting on Xavier, right? Mm-hmm. There's a very fine line. First of all, I don't do a lot of yelling and cursing at Xavier, but when I do, it's you know, you know, kind of like, the word I'm looking for is like it's meaningful. Like I don't just do it just to do it. Yeah, it's with purpose. That's what I was looking for. Yep. And I can recall 2 times specifically, and I'll talk about one. And it happened at Oaklawn, and Zay was out. I think he was hurt. Yeah, he was hurt. And they were playing at the Philopolis Effington Classic.
Okay.
Right? And I used to tell I would tell Xavier, like, you have to, like, you're still a part of the team, but you gotta, like, Zay has one of these personalities, like, if you're in a certain type of space, that shit will annoy you. Mm-hmm. Like, and I know my child, right? And so there was this one situation where it was a timeout, and Zay, I felt, was probably being the most genuine that I've seen him be in a long time when it relates to just trying to get the team going, right? Usually he's like very immature. Like some of his antics is like, if I was coaching, I probably would have backhanded him, right? So I kind of got it. But this was one of the rare times where I actually saw, and it was rare, I'll admit, it was rare. This is one of the rare times where I felt like it was genuine. But it's like that little boy that cried wolf. Like, it has been, his track record is always like, sometimes like, not now, not now. And so it was this one timeout instance where the coach, Zay was trying to rile them up, and the coach came up and kind of yanked them and grabbed them. And I of course, I didn't say that in the moment, but I initially I definitely had to, like, just let it play out. Like, I was hoping that Xavier didn't react in a way where, because now usually what happens is then when he reacts, then all you focus on is his reaction and not the cause. Now, I hate that type of shit. Right? So, like, I was paying attention to Zay's reaction, and Zay immediately knew, like, he looked right at me and was like, just whatever. And it was a high tense moment. And I didn't say nothing. I didn't do nothing. I waited like a day or so, and I finally reached out, and just, instead of reaching out from a way of like, yo, why just that, can you explain to me why that happened? He did a fantastic job of explaining. I thought it was now I didn't. My mentality still was like, don't do that shit again. And But I appreciated him. Number one, understanding where I was coming from as dad. Right. I'd like to think that he appreciated how I handled it, because that could have went totally different. And we were able to have a very open and honest communication with that whole scenario. A lot of times people don't really get a chance to do that. Like, coaches react very emotionally, players act very emotionally, parents act even more emotionally. How do y'all deal with shit like that? I took the long way around of asking.
Go ahead.
I honestly haven't had a situation like that. With any team I've ever coached, we have a coaching meeting. I let them know, like, I'm gonna be tough on your kid in a respectful manner. I mean, I have 2 kids myself, man. I will never do anything to your kid that I wouldn't want another person to do to a kid. So if I do happen to grab or yell anything like that, know it's coming from a place of, we want to get better and everything like that. So
how would you deal with a parent, like, here, so parents, it's like dealing with people. Like, you say shit until you see it happen. You don't know how you're going to react. You could say to me right now, say, Des, if I threw this water on you, what would you do? Like, I know you would be playing and but until it happens, you don't really know how you gonna
Right.
react. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of
Like
curious.
how Mike Tyson say, every boxer got to plan until you get
punched.
hit.
Punch, yeah.
Till you get punched,
Yep.
exactly. So like, how do y'all deal with those type of situations when, y'all have those meetings with the parents, but then that first sign of adversity, now they want to, hey coach, can I talk to you for a second? Like, how do y'all, compound that?
I guess over time, conflict resolution becomes one of your abilities of how to handle that conversation. Because in my parent meetings and the ones we've done the past 2 years, we tell parents give us 24 hours. Like,
All coaches say that.
everybody say that, like, because of the initial response, you don't want to respond. Because a lot of the resistance we get is playing time.
Of course.
That's really the only resistance that we get. But in a situation of a conflict, if it's something like that, I'm talking to you right away out of respect, because I am a parent first, and I'm also an educator. So out of respect, I would have that conversation, and I'm glad he explained that to you thoroughly the way he did. But I would just take the approach of it depends, because there's so many different scenarios you can get
And
hit
of course,
with.
you don't know until
But-
you're in it. Like,
and then-
because what people don't also realize is that there's different things going on with us individually that don't have shit to do with basketball.
Yep. And
You know what I'm saying? And so, some right, wrong, or indifferent, some of that reaction could have something to do with something that don't have nothing to do with that at all. And you just maybe are in a vulnerable mindset where you can't control
And you
your
react.
emotion and you
Yep.
react. I was an educator, so like I've been in a lot of those scenarios. Des, you were at Obama as the 8th grade head coach. Mark, you were over at Morgan Park coaching the girls. What did JD say to y'all to get y'all over there to Hyde Park? Excuse me, at HF. I'm sorry, not Hyde Park. Because he came from Hyde Park, my bad.
So my situation, it went sort of like I was actually only at Morgan Park for a summer. Right? And it was a, girls team and everything like that. And I started coaching Viking United, and then we needed HF needed another coach. It went out, so I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. So JD gave me a call. He's like, yeah, you interested in coming in? I'm like, yeah. But I let him know, like, I got to talk to Coach Rynell. He's Thornwood girls head coach now, to make sure everything was cool, because whatever. He's like, yeah, just, make the call. I think everything makes sense that's his thing. It makes sense. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
I just think it makes sense for you coming. You're in it, you part of the community. You've been part of the community. You coach Homewood Small Fry. You got ties with these kids and parents and everything like that. I just think it makes sense. So I have been trying to get in HF for the past couple years, and it just didn't happen. So when the opportunity came, I jumped. JD jumped, and we here.
Okay. Mark?
My road is a little bit different from his. So being a coach at Obama, my feeder was Rich Township. So a lot of my kids are actually currently Rich Township players. At the time of this whole process happening, I had Jamson Coulter, who was the top 8th grader and arguably in the state at the time. And Jameer was at Hyde Park head coaching. And he left Hyde Park to take the Rich Township job behind Corn. So when he took it, I was one of the first calls he made. It
I remember the whole...
back to the point of making sense. It made sense at the time, so we were setting up for Rich Township. So,
that whole thing happened.
It all hit the fan. As
Okay.
it hit the fan, I moved with him right away to HF. Moving over, I was just going to be the varsity assistant, sophomore assistant. And then the opportunity presented itself to head coach freshman. I still wanted to get head coaching reps. So he asked me what did I want to do. I said, yeah, let me do freshman. And then I needed a second person. Mark and I didn't really know each other at the time. But when JD introduced it and then we had that first practice, I said, oh, my God, this is like a hand in the glove. Like our personalities, because he's more introvert, I'm more extrovert.
Gotcha.
So it's like like this. So that's how it all came together.
Having a good team means players buying in, everyone needing to be on the same page. How are you guys getting all the players to buy in? From the freshman teams, A and B, the JV team, all the way up to the varsity team?
So it starts with the motto, the standard. So we go by the motto, it's the standard. And the standard is that you put the work in. We're putting the work in, everything falls into place. And with all the concepts we teaching and principles and conditioning and the offenses, defenses, it all just comes together. And then it meets in the middle, and it's just smooth like butter.
Okay.
I think it also is because of our appearance in the community. Like the whole coaching staff, we're all known in the basketball world, and oh, I want to play for him, or I play for him, or I'm playing for him. I know what can happen when I listen to him, so it makes it a whole lot easier where you have a player, parent, and everything that trusts the product that's being put out, or the product that can be put out.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you are essentially responsible for getting the players ready for varsity. What does that look like?
I love it. It looks like getting them ready for conditioning, getting them ready for the concepts that, they're gonna be in for the next 3 to 4 years and everything like that. It's just letting them know, like, hey, this is what you have to look forward to. This is what you have to get better, good at to be that 4-year player. So, like I said earlier, we're just the foundation, and without that foundation, it's gonna be back to I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna go over here. So
spreading them out.
So, you talk about the foundation, essentially the roots of it all. Y'all players A and B of the freshman team. Some of those players will either get up to or get moved up to play JV, sophomore ball as they become sophomores, or maybe some of them are good now. Like when Zay played over at Marist, they didn't even put him on the freshman team. He was right. Him and Lier was right on the sophomore team. And then, of course, they kind of make their way up. Eventually, the goal, obviously, is to always make it to varsity, to play varsity. Do you guys feel like you have any players now on your respective teams of the freshman teams that are ready for sophomore or even ready for varsity?
So we got a kid right now, Jaden McDonald. I want to say that name so everybody hear it. Jaden McDonald. He should not even be on the freshman team. It was one of those situations where just some self-discipline things. I put it that way.
Okay.
That we had to introduce him to the high school level. That some things he got away with at the middle school level is not going to fly at the high school level.
That's so interesting that you say that, right? And so a few weeks ago, we interviewed Alyssa, the young lady from Whitney Young, the small guard. Yeah. She talked about how difficult it was for her, right? And her interview is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Is because she said she really struggled coming in from 8th grade to freshman year because coming in, she was the known star player.
She was. I remember her in middle school,
and so she said she really struggled adjusting to not being the woman no more.
The go-to.
And she said, my freshman, it was really emotional. And I said, emotional how? Like you cried? And she was like, yes, because I didn't play.
Yeah.
And she said she really, really, really struggled with just adapting and adjusting to high school, as well as now trying to adapt and adapt to that ego part of the sportsmanship or just that competitive nature. Would you say that's the case with this young man? Like just kind of adapting from coming from his 8th grade situation to thinking that it's going, I was the man over here, I'm just going to step right in and kind of, or is it some other things as well combined with that?
A combination.
Okay.
A combination that we just needed to have him. I think we were the perfect coaches to because he very possibly could leap from us to varsity. Talent-wise, he could leap from freshman level to varsity level. That's how skilled this kid is blessed. So our approach is more of a tactical approach. We try to tap into his mind because he can score 30 every single night. So we just try to tap into his head and just the approach to the daytime with his classroom teachers, with his peers. Like it's way deeper than just dribbling the basketball. We call it getting him to 3 o'clock. Because after 3 o'clock, he's gravy. It's like getting him to 3 o'clock.
Okay. HF has become the hunted, per se. How are you guys preparing the kids? How is the varsity staff? And I know that y'all are part of that with Coach JD. And how are you guys getting, Bryce and G and Carson and Matt and some of those other guys? How are y'all preparing them for now the target is on their back?
So even though like we may be hunting, no, we're still hunting. We're still out. We have things that we're hunting. So you can hunt us all you want, but you chasing us. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about as far as like we know we're better than you all and everything like that. I'm just saying the fact of, okay, you could take your time hunting us down where we're hunting stuff too. So we're not waiting for you. We're not sitting around waiting to be caught. As far as like getting those guys focused and everything like that, it's not hard getting them focused because they're competitors. They're athletes. You know what I mean? They want to win. They want to be the best. So letting them know like, hey, we wearing red and white. That like that's target colors. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we the target. Don't be no easy target.
Okay. You talked about earlier, and I always like to kind of make light of this, but be dead ass serious. You talked about specifically you and a couple of other coaches are from the HF community. Mm-hmm. That community got a motherfucking reputation about them, right? Y'all know I talk about that all the time.
Oh yeah, all
right. The community has a history of arrogance and entitlement. And y'all, well, Des, you're an outsider. I'm just finding out that you are a part of that community. How are y'all dealing with that? Has it surfaced yet? How will you deal with it if it comes up?
It's popped up. We like to call ourselves the new HF.
Okay.
Because we have to deal with some questions or some backlash or responses all the time. And I say that's the old HF. This is the new HF. So maybe a year, 2 years from now, we won't have to keep saying the new HF, but that's just what we've had to do. So.
And you from that community? You want to talk about your
community? Let's be a little clear.
Okay.
I'm not from HF community. I'm part of it now, and I say it proud. However, it's bad apples everywhere. But like Coach said, that's not us. Like let's just take last year for instance. Like all of us, we're new to the staff. We're new to the school and everything like that. So the whole political and everything, like that's not us. It's a clean slate.
Okay.
So as far as like the entitlement and everything like that, I don't come from the trenches, but we starting at the bottom and we working our way up. So there's no unjust pride that we walking around. We're prideful because we feel like we're good, we're gonna win and everything like that. But there's no you owe me anything because nobody owes us anything. We're gonna take what we want.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
what is the overall first year goal for the HF basketball program?
First year goal?
First year goal.
Last year you talking about?
No. The year that we are in right now, the season has started. What is the goal?
Oh, well, we achieved our first goal, and that was to win the Chicago Heights Classic. If we're talking varsity. Like I was speaking with one of our coaches last night, and end goal and everything like that, that's the end goal, but we have steps to get there, and we achieve all our steps, and we get our end goal.
Check them boxes.
So our first goal was to win the Chicago Heights Classic. We did that.
What's the next goal?
Our next goal is to who we play tomorrow, Sandburg?
Creek.
Creek.
We play Creek.
Our next goal is to beat Creek.
Okay. So
Yeah,
each game has its own goal.
Yep. That's our next goal, game by game.
And shout out to Crete and Juwan and all them.
That's
brother.
That's family. I know.
That's family.
Yeah, that's the good thing about this coaching community, particularly with this coaching community. Yeah. It's like everybody is kind of grooming and growing together. It's definitely a brotherhood. It's a respectful brother. Like I want to put belts as Paul's, but I definitely you're still my brother at the end of the day.
No known fact too. Drew was at Rich Township with us for a couple months.
I know.
So I know you do your homework.
I was about to say little known fact to who?
I'm saying to those that might
them?
be.
Oh yeah, to them out there.
To them. I don't know if everybody knew that.
I fucking knew.
I know.
I knew. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to
and a lot of people didn't know that too, by the way.
Right. He was there in the
Right.
process.
And I also know a lot of people don't know that Juwan was at what's the Catholic school he was at?
St. Francis.
St. Francis. And I know his resume speaks for itself merit wise, but I also know who the plug was for him to get over at Crete as well.
He was one game away from going downstate last year.
Yeah, I know with his squad. Like I know he wanted Zay to come over there. I mean, you know, I got ears to the streets. You know what I'm saying? I got flex my shit a little bit. Prior to Bryce coming over, transferring in, expectations was already high with G and Carson, and again a few others. Now that he's there as a returning one of the top players in the state, because when he left, he definitely was in one of the top 10 players in the state. Now he's back. He's probably top 5 players in the state. Arguably, some people say number 1. I'm sure he'll say that. And his pop as well. Shout out to his dad. But now with that whole entire nucleus, you guys are, again, I mentioned like, you know, y'all kind of the target. What mental adjustments has the staff made now? I know like y'all adjustments, I asked how the adjustments are being made towards the players as a staff now that the spotlight is on y'all. What type of adjustments are you guys as a staff making?
So the adjustments is what can we all do, because it's a puzzle. So everybody plays a piece to a puzzle, and you know, with JD being the head, he's got to manage everything. So what it kind of made us up our game. Like, what more could we do? How more could we contribute? Get kids in the gym to get shots up on the shooting machine. Just being in the gym, scouting and evaluating other teams. So it just made us up our game a little bit more, because it went from maybe you could win it to you one of the few ones that realistically could win this thing.
Can definitely win it. Right.
It made our juices flow a little more.
Will the season be a disappointment if y'all don't win state?
It was a disappointment we didn't win state last year.
Facts.
I feel like if we're stepping on that court, we can win. I don't care what bodies are there or anything like that. Like, we're supposed to win this game. We do the job in practice. We do the scouting. We do the everything like that. So I've never walked into a game. We never walked into a game, regardless of who it is. Even when we played St. Rita last year, thinking, this is it. Like, nah, we're supposed to win that game. So will it be a disappointment? It'll be a disappointment if we didn't put forth maximum effort. Okay. I mean, I know wins and losses happen and everything like that, but losing and not without effort, without leaving it out there, that's where the disappointment will come in. I won't say it'd be 100% disappointment because we didn't win state, but we still played well. You know what I mean? So if we play well and we happen to lose, then you got to, you know, take that in as a lesson, and then we're going to keep thriving, because at the end of the day, it's still about life. And, you know, so you had asked the question, like, it's a lot of ego management with the kids, and none of the kids really have an ego.
Y'all got some good kids. I mean, as good as they are, G comes from great stock. Bryce comes from great stock. I know a little bit about Carson. He comes from great stock. I know, you know, I've seen his family or whatever. Y'all got some good kids over there. So I'm sure that there's egos from a competitive standpoint, but I don't think from a standpoint of like sneak this and then they don't want their brother to be good. Like I as a coach, I would be concerned if they didn't have egos.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying.
You said something that just made me kind of think about this question. Would you rather lose and play fantastic or win and play shitty?
I would rather win and play bad, because at the end of the day, we're still teachers. So I always want to win. So now if I see that, okay, we etched that win out, okay, you know what, but that's a loss to us. We get the win on the scoreboard and everything like that, but tomorrow we can't do the same thing. You know what I mean? Because a loss means we done. I don't want to be done.
Right.
So, no, I would never say I'd rather lose. I had an argument a while ago when and it was like, well, you learn from losing. I'm like, okay, well, you really not doing your job if you can't learn when you're winning. You know what I mean? Like, because you didn't do everything right in the first place. Even if there's no perfect game. So how do we mess up here? And we sticklers, you know what I mean? So we may point out something, we could win by 30 points, like, damn, we didn't do this, but we didn't do that. You know what I mean? So if you can't sit there and be a judge of yourself, we speaking straight coaches where we didn't have them prepared to do this, then, you know, where's that? Yeah. So
okay. How has both of y'all's previous coaching experience at Obama and Morgan Park, respectively, helped prepare y'all for this new role and these new responsibilities?
I guess I'll go with how I finished at Obama. I lost the championship game off a 1-1 and a full court missed buzzer beater. So I'm always looking for that edge that to keep that chip on my shoulder. So I carried that right over to moving back to the high school level, and I know I don't want that feeling again. So I'm always not cutthroat but cerebral. Like if I get the edge on somebody, I am knocking your head off. Like until I feel like it's like big enough to where okay, now we could kind of. But I never want that feeling again. At one point, the buzzer go off, you miss it, and you watching the other team celebrate. So
Me, I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead. No.
It's so Morgan Park. Not that I can't count that, but like I said, I never coached a game for Morgan Park. But before that, I was on Prairie Hill staff. We back to back states. So a little bit different than Desfield and never wanted to get that taste. We won the championship twice. I need that as much as possible. I know what we went through to get there. You know what I mean? So now is let me make this 15 kids get there. You know what I mean? So it's like I want that taste every time and time again.
Do either of you have aspirations of becoming head coaches?
I
Maybe your own
do.
pro- I mean, I know y'all head coaches
Yeah.
now, but I'm talking about of a varsity program.
I mean, I do, but I really love what we have at HF. Like, I really love it. I've been in a lot of different scenarios and environments, and they were toxic. There were some that were okay, but this one is just different. Like, go back to the phrase "everything makes sense." Like, it really makes sense. Like, it gels. So that's not my priority right now. I'm just focused on as long as we can keep this band together. I'm riding with this band, with this
Okay.
group.
What about you?
Me, I don't. I don't have. I see the amount of effort that JD puts into it and everything. Like I just don't have. I don't want to say the time, but just like the want to do that. Like I serve a particular role and on our staff, and we're all brothers on our staff. Like once the clock hits 000, our conversation with each other is not over. And like he said, like we're a band, you know what I mean? And we legit vibe with each other, and that's something I enjoy. And I don't see myself having one. I got a whole nother job, career. And that career is not going to allow me to put as much time to be great in doing and being a head coach. Because I would say, okay, now I'm a head coach. I need to be great doing it, and I don't have the amount of time to invest in that to do it. So.
Got you. When y'all played, who gave y'all buckets?
I can say Derrick Rose as I played against.
Okay.
That was not
That's
an
fair
easy
enough.
matchup.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you?
So, as a person that like really, like damn, kid named BJ Davis. He played for he started at Crete, ended up at Rich Central. Rich Central and Rich South at that time in the 98 to 99 year, 97 to 99, we were the best two teams in the South suburbs. So, BJ Davis gave us a lot of problems. And then like personally, like just when I realized like, damn, hold on, it's not just me out here. I was playing the Sonny Parker Pro-Am, and I go, like I said, out here I felt like I was him. You know what I mean? Like we had intercable stage network and everything like that who would do reports on us and all the time and everything, and my name was always mentioned. So I felt like I was him. So we go out to this to the Pro-Am, and I got a little like I'm that guy, and I go to sit down. This guy hits me, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh shit, who was that? It's Will Bynum. You know what I mean? And he embarrassed me, really. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the person who like one-on-one just like made me realize like, damn, I gotta get to work.
Okay. Who y'all gave buckets to? Who like give me somebody that y'all gave buckets to?
High school wise, I don't know if it was a name in particular, but I played in the Red North, so at the time, Taft, bust their ass, Von Steuben, Mather. I'm trying to think of who else was at that time. Von Steuben, we had battles. We always battled for the top team in the North. And then, but yeah, that's some of the schools that I had great games.
So, like I was saying, the publicity wasn't there, so I don't know we didn't know the names and anything like that.
Right.
But like it was a green light on any conference game. Like our conference consisted of Rich Central, Rich East, Crete, Bradley, and Kankakee. Rich East wasn't even worth talking about, and Crete wasn't even worth talking about at that time. Seriously. It was like I knew I'm only gonna play probably about 15 minutes this game. But
y'all gonna
yeah, it's so. But like I had a different level of focus playing against Rich Central. Kankakee was tough then, especially playing down in Kankakee.
And
They right on top of you and everything like that. So I enjoyed those environments, playing away at Bradley, playing away at Rich Central. That was our sister school, so that rivalry was crazy. And I probably legit averaged about 25 a game in conference. So like those are games I woke up for and was like, yeah, but it wasn't any particular player. It was a lot of zone back then too, or trapping and everything like that. So,
who's your all-time NBA favorite players and six man? 5 starters, 1 6 man.
I'll go first. So, Penny is my all-time favorite player. Period. Out of everybody.
That's interesting, and that's not surprise me for some reason. I don't know why that doesn't surprise me.
Yep. So I I'm gonna throw him in at the 1. Of course, Mike at the 2. At the 3, I'm gonna go Bron. 4, KD, and then 5, Akeem, and 6. If I'm trying to win and just need some versatility, then I'm gonna throw Steph in there.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna go with a big lineup. So I'm gonna put T-Mac at the point.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna put Jordan at the 2. Then I'm gonna put LeBron at the 3. Put KG. KG is my all-time favorite player.
That's my favorite athlete.
He is one of my. Him and Karl Malone. Just.
You can't put KG and Karl Malone in the same comment.
I
Please
do.
don't.
I do.
Yeah, that they're like polar opposites. But KG spent that 1 year here, and he got that Chicago toughness.
Yeah, I guess so. I think that shit is a fraud, but whatever.
I don't think so. Not after all these years.
I got you. I hear you.
So KG is my 4, and then Hakeem Olajuwon is my 5.
Okay, who your 6?
And then my 6 man, I'm gonna go with a current player, Giannis.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Giannis as my. He's so versatile. I could plug him anywhere.
All right, mine is AI, Kobe, Jordan. I'm throwing Shaq at my 4 and Olajuwon at my 5. I used to have Tim Duncan in that role, but like I think Shaq is just
the league never seen nothing like him.
Nothing. And then Jamal Crawford is my 6 man.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I know both of you gentlemen are both family men. Talk about your families, what they mean to you, your children, like how important is family to the both of y'all?
Family's everything to me. I got 2, a 12-year-old boy, 19-year-old girl, and like the things that they are doing is something that I'm proud of. I can't say I necessarily, I probably can, but I won't like gave that to them. But like my I don't know. I made it. You seen the post a little while ago. My son, he's probably has the biggest heart of any child I've ever been around. Unprompted anything like that. He come to me, Dad, one day, Dad, I'm gonna cut all my hair off. Like, why? Such and such. She's a cancer patient. I just want to show that I'm there for him. It's like, what do I say to that? You know what I mean? So, my daughter in the same week did a whole breast cancer walk out in Tennessee. So it's just like, like I'm proud that I am their father because of the selflessness that they, that they display. And it's a genetic, it's a generational thing because my parents, they're the same way. They'll get a shirt off their back to anybody who need it, and I feel like I do the same thing, and everybody get it honestly. So.
What about you, Des?
Man, my wife, Kyra, she's been there with me the whole time. We've been together since we were 19, actually. So, of how you hear as hard as a coach and the ins and outs, she's been there from the very beginning of I was still playing in men's leagues and coaching to starting to take it serious to actually getting good at it to where I've evolved to where I am now. So we have 2 kids, a 7-year-old, 1-year-old. I have a junior, and then I have a daughter. They are my world, to be able to, out of work and basketball, you just go home and take all of that off, and they don't care about none of that. They just want your time, effort, and energy. So they still young, so they at that molding age. So I try to just spend as much time with them as possible and just enjoy it while they little, because once they get older, the interests come up a little more, and they want to spend less time with you. And so I'm just soaking in that they young and want to sit in my lap, watch TV. So that's where I'm at.
I know me and Mark can both speak to that last part that you said. As they get older, they get their own interests.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a college daughter. I have a college son, as y'all both know. And it is important what you are instilling in them, because even with Mark, I talk to Mark, I would like to say pretty frequently, and we just kind of talk about. I remember last year when his daughter went to school, and just when they just came home, just sometimes just being in their space and having their energy is just so important. But what's even more important is them understanding how important it is to us. Right. So, when Zay came home for Thanksgiving, and when he left on Saturday evening, because we was down at the thing. So when we left Saturday evening, he texted me that he was leaving, and I'm actually a little salty because I was gone all day. So normally I'm home when he leaves. So this is the first time he didn't. So I woke him up, told him, all right, I'll see, I'm probably not gonna be here when you leave, blah, 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 blah. And it was just good to have him home. And so I made sure to let him know that. When he texted me I'm leaving, I'm like, yo, I'm glad that you got a chance to come home, spend some time. And he was like, yo, I'm glad too. So those little things are really important, because he's starting to get it. And more importantly for me, and Mark will see this as his son gets older, and you will too as your son. Zay is now at that man age where first of all, I've never not talked to him like a man, even when he's Ziggy, because I talk to Ziggy like him. But now Zay is at that man age where I don't have to too much subtly talk to him like a man. I could talk to him like a man and full-fledged. I'm talking about from the seriousness of the conversations to the little jokes about the broads to anything in between that. Our conversations are really whatever, and I really enjoy having those bantering moments with him, even when they get on my nerves. But each time he's come home from college, I've noticed something different about him as it relates to his maturity, as it relates to his mannerisms, as it relates to his ongoing development to manhood.
Yeah.
It's just kind of dope to see. And while my dad did a decent job, I felt like my dad lacked certain things as it relates to the social emotional component of development, but he still was a great.
We all came up like that.
Right, and so that's part of my parenting shtick, if you will.
Yeah.
But my dad was a great. He was a provider. He was a great father. And towards the latter years of his life, we got closer as me being his firstborn. But with Xavier, we're now at that stage where I'm just really enjoying that part of it.
Yeah,
it's kind of dope. It's really really dope. So. Just like I said, just kind of enjoy that because it's gonna go by fast, bro. It's gonna go by real fast. Lastly, I'd like you to give yourselves future messages when these things are turned into reels, and you see this video 5, 10, 15 years down the line. What message do you want to give yourself?
I think the message I would give myself is that you've come a long way, and that enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey and what the future might bring, and good, bad, or ugly, just be ready for it and just be solid and be the person that you are.
Celebrate your victories while they're happening. And enjoy your life right now. Keep it up. Even when you're weary, that you're making a difference. Just stay strong, stay focused, and keep doing what you're doing.
I thank you both, gentlemen. I thank you both for being on the show. There's not many people, since I've been here, there's not many people who I've, kind of included in my inner circle, if you will.
Yeah.
and I know Mark understands this as a Sagittarius. Like, we real funny about letting people in our like real
You
funny.
say that all the time.
We real funny about letting people in our space, but here's the beauty of how we do it. You think that you're in our space, and 95% of the people that think that are not at all. And we do a really good job of making people feel that way. And it's crazy because the 5 people, here's the fucked up part. The 5 people who are actually in there, they don't even think they're in there. It's the 95% of the people who think they're in there.
Ain't that crazy?
Right? Am I lying?
Nah, you got it.
You know what I'm saying? And so I say that to say, like, you gentlemen have you've infiltrated my 5% of my space. And so, like, I really appreciate y'all. Like, you, well, Des, I don't know if you remember. Like, I just kind of remember you from Zay was probably maybe like 6th or 7th
the
grade.
Next Level days.
Yeah.
Next
That's when I
Level
first met you at Next
Yeah.
Level, and you were the only one out of that whole group of people. And shout out to the Kents and the other people that were there.
Yeah.
Which actually, that might, as I'm thinking about this that might have planted the seed for this whole exposure runs thing, because I felt like that was one of the first moments where I felt like, because we were not from here, Xavier was treated a little bit differently in that environment. But you were the only one who really kind of like looked past that, like, well, who is Shorty? Like, what's to him?
I'm not
What's
gonna lie,
to
I
him?
saw something to him
Like,
in
what's
6th
to him?
grade.
Like, and so I remember, I had Scooter up here. I remember distinctly people who, like,
Way back when,
who poured into Xavier. So I definitely remember that building that was right on Harlem, that we had that, they had
the new Velocity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yup.
So, like, I'm telling you, I don't forget shit. I'll forget your name, but I'll never forget a face.
You took it back with that.
Yeah,
move.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
did.
You were one of the only ones. And Mark, since I've met you, I don't even remember how we fucking met.
Through Kobe.
Yeah.
Through Kobe.
So, but ever since then, like, and then you gave me the opportunity, as you pointed out earlier.
You did. So suddenly.
Right. You do that.
Shit on camera. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But no, like, you gentlemen are like, y'all are really important to me as fathers. I mean, coaching wise, cool, but like, just as men, as fathers, like, and y'all pour into my family, like that, where I'm from and how I was raised. That means a lot. Like, I can trust that if something happens to me, like, y'all would genuinely look out for my family just to make sure that they, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I really appreciate it. And that's not, and me not being from here, like, that says a lot about your character. Before we go, I do want to ask you guys, like, just kind of talk a little bit about exposure runs and the platform, and what you think of it, and how it has come to where we are now.
Man, I don't know if you remember during COVID when I was training in Madison, and when you put this together, and you were using, if I remember right, the gym in the city.
My wife's gym. She works at a school, Excel Academy, and they got the hard floor. And
the small gym.
Yep.
I love Cracker Box gyms too, but you had JJ and Day Day and your son and Diggy, and
that picture gonna be worth money. And I still have it too.
Give it time. It's gonna age real well. But I just remember the genesis of it and it coming together and just supporting you and supporting the whole thing, and to see it came to a podcast, like, it's just evolving beautifully. So I'm just admiring from afar, and to be on the podcast is like a blessing. So just see it from the very beginning of where your heart was, just the idea of you putting so many other people kids on. It's like, that's one of the knocks that Illinois have, is that we don't look out for each other. We just it's doggy dog, the crab in the barrel mentality. And you say you're an outsider, but you family now. Like, you fully ingrained in. But to see it from the beginning has been rewarding.
Appreciate that.
No, I love it. It kind of, in a microcosm, it's like, I coach a lot of developmental teams, and it helps players get to the next step and everything like that. So to tie those two together, it's like, what you doing and what you started out and continue to do is like, some kids who may not be getting the recognition that they're supposed to be getting, or let's take it. If there was an exposure runs in '98, '99, I'm probably not sitting. I might be sitting here in a different format. You know what I mean? You giving putting players on a platform because exposure run name is growing. Oh, this kid, I got to go to exposure runs name, and you're getting maybe not the 3-star, 4 or 5-star players, but they probably should be. You know, you giving them a platform to show, like, hey, I can do this too, and I think that's dope. I think, you know, like the overall purpose, yes, it started because Zay wasn't getting the recognition that he was supposed to be getting and everything like that, and you're unapologetically said, yeah, that's why it happened.
That's exactly why.
You know what I'm saying? So what? You know what I mean? That's how it should be. But the fact that it's continuing, showing your heart, you know, showing your passion for it, and I just think it's dope, and that's why 100 times out of 100, I'm gonna back you on whatever you're doing, whatever it is. You know, somebody come down on you, and you're like, nah, hell no. No, move doing stuff that we should have been doing.
It's funny. Two things. Number one, like everybody knows this by now. Like, I'm 100% unapologetic in why I started the platform, and honestly, I accomplished what I needed to accomplish as it relates to that, right? And so, but to your point, I definitely recognize in the midst of starting this thing, it's like, yo, it's hundreds of thousands in Illinois alone of Xavier. Right. And so my goal, like, you know, you talked about the 4 and 5 stars, like, yeah, everyone know who these 4 and 5 stars are. Okay, cool. And they great players, right? Some of them come from great situations, great opportunities, whatever. I'll invite them too. Let them come out. Yeah. But then let's get some of these other guys who no one really knows or that they should be knowing. And let's let the chips fall where they may. And that's kind of how Xavier, whatever, because, you know, at the time it was, you know, Bryce and, you know, Day and Jay Griff and all those guys, great players, great families, great young men, you know, Caden Space and Donovan and you know, man, I could name a ton of people. Even when I had the situation with the other buddy who we had the players, you got Owen playing in Iowa. He came through and put work in, and you had Justin King. That was all these kids from further down south. So like it's just been a great situation, and every player who has come through. The best part for me personally is it's cool with the players and like, man, this is great move. I appreciate this. It's the families that appreciate it. From this past showcase. I mean, we almost 3-4 weeks past the event. I'm still getting messages from parents, from the parents. You know, every now and then, BJ Powell father still reach out. Every now and then, Malachi father reach out. Malachi Johnson, I think his name is Lamont. His father reaches out. Lil Chris Hill, who didn't even play his entire junior year because he tried to transfer and the IHSA shitted on him. His dad, Darian, who has his own organization, he continues to reach out. Like the videographers, they like, man, this event was awesome. The photographers, the bloggers. So like, and I made it where the bloggers, I told the bloggers, like, I want y'all here, but y'all got to get y'all content for free. Y'all can't come if y'all content not free. And they all respected that, and they all provided free content to my guy Trell from Illinois, I forgot his platform, to Mr. Moses, like all them guys, the guy Justin from Next Pro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they all providing providing a great service for these kids. And the goal is to make sure we touching all the kids and make sure they all get an opportunity. So, no, man, I appreciate it, man. It's good having you guys up here, and I hope to have you guys back after y'all win that state title.
You have to put the whole staff on here.
Yeah, we'll come to y'all. We'll come to y'all.
That's even better.
Yeah, we'll come to y'all. But no, I definitely want to give a shout out to my guy Bo over there from AGM Plus. I'm going to give a shout out to Tyree Booker and Derek Ellison. They are the reasons the platform even got started to begin with. My guy Ryan Foran, my partner with the Chi-Town Showcase, as well as the Unsigned Senior. And then, of course, my guys from SVI Sportswear, Anthony and Grant Leach, who be lacing me.
We need that hoodie too.
That's what we talking about right now.
Who laced me with my shit? Who laced us with the banner? Yeah. What'd you say, Daz?
I need a hoodie.
What size you need, Daz?
Extra large.
I got you, broski. No, straight up. No, I appreciate y'all, man, and we'll see y'all on the next episode.
Thank you.